Welcome to SADTU Online Television.
We are in June. This is the month of the youth. And this must remind us, therefore, that the struggle continues. Because when the youth stood up and the students and protested against the dominance of Africans and the dominance of the white race as white supremacy, we lost a lot of our young people throughout the country, in particular in Soweto and so forth, who basically, I'm standing here, we are here today to say we need to honor these young people who were able to making sure that we realize our freedom and our democracy. And we must never fail them by handing over our freedom and democracy to our former oppressors. By criticizing our pedagogy, we need to be able to address its weaknesses. Because its weaknesses is failure to create individuals who will understand that colonialism and apartheid was a crime against humanity. We have a continent that is bestowed with mineral resources, the richness in the world, and we can make it. But if our curriculum and our pedagogy, we do not criticize and make sure that we are able to, again, create a new person in South Africa who will then say, I love my people, I love my country, and I am going to stay away from corruption, and we do this thing. And we have that responsibility. The child is not only educated by the teacher. The teacher is an individual. A parent is an individual. But the child is educated by an environment. The child is educated by the media. The child is educated by a social group and many influencers around this particular child who has to grow. And therefore, our pedagogy, we need to reflect on that so that we are able to create what? The youth and adults who must see themselves as defenders of the revolution and social activists. In our collaborative professionalism, let's understand that education and economic development are definitely, constantly interacting and fully shaping themselves. We cannot stop conscientizing ourselves, conscientizing our teams, conscientizing our students about the importance of loving our people, being able to serve our people, and improve our education. Because the defects of colonial apartheid have to be removed, comrades, if we are to build a new person. If we have to create this new human being, we've got to make sure that those particular defects are removed. We need to also have another reflection to find ways to decelerate the trend we have seen today of our generation, which did not have to face the sacrifices and hardship, poverty, discrimination, and other apartheid capitalist evils in becoming passive in the face of criticism. We are reminded of the Freedom Charter. Teach our children to love their people. Teach our youth to love their country. Teach them to die for their country. Without that, there's no basis for education because you cannot learn. We see this change in behavior in our children when they are brought to us from that early age. We are able to conscientize them, change them, and make them to move and transform themselves into these activists in their lives. It is in this regard, therefore, that we preoccupy ourselves as revolutionary professionals with the basic material of our work being the youth, in which we place our hopes and preparing it to take the batons from our hands. So we truly believe that achievement of greater social justice is closely dependent on equitable access by all sections of the population to quality education. So it's about time, therefore, we take our collective responsibility in changing our curriculum to develop our children into creative, critical, and self-standing individuals who will use problem-solving skills to create jobs for themselves. So let's look at if we cannot be able to really develop an internal need of our children, of our youth, to be social actors. So we need to arouse in our youth the internal need for direct social action. We will then be using our pedagogy as our own protest. If we use our pedagogy as our own protest against gender-based violence, against the violence in our schools, and we use this particular pedagogy of ours as a protest against continuous mental slavery and continuously undermining ourselves and not realizing that we are all the children of the universe. And therefore, we are all equal. Intersectionalities of disabilities, of sex, of gender, of class, and race, and everything. These are the things we deal with. We need to show love for our learners who are living with disabilities. We need to make sure that they find space in making them able to receive education. We need to deal with these particular social ills as a collective, collaborating, all of us, to make sure that we are able to defeat all these particular things. It's about the future, it's about the life, it's about our pedagogy, it's about the importance of education. We, as SADTU, therefore, joined long time ago around this issue to say we want to decolonize our education. Colonialism did two things. Remember one thing about colonialism. One, it defined opportunities based on color, gender, sex. It defined your opportunities that you will not receive quality education, that you will not receive an education that will enable you to innovate, to create, but you will always depend, because it was one of the fundamental features of colonialism to create dependency. Don't worry about the oppressed, worry about the oppressed. The most dangerous thing here we must be worried is the oppressed's mind. If you can't decolonize it, it will become a potent weapon for ignorance, a potent weapon for disillusionment, a potent weapon for ostracization. Decolonization means reinstating, recreating our values, our dignity, our indigenous languages, our culture, in order for us to access science, innovation, and cognitive level that is required for us to have a sustainable, inclusive economy in a developmental state in South Africa.
This is SADTU Online TV, coming live from Matthew Koniwe House. This is Nomusa Cembi, your host. Amandla.